everybody. My name is Yang. I'm China House owner. I'm here 30 years. I like my neighborhood very much, but graffiti is a big problem. I'm happy government have this program to remove graffiti. It's my honor to introduce Mayor Bowser.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. It's great to be with all of you, and let's give Wen Zhejiang a big round of applause and her family. Proprietors here in the district for 30 plus years. And we know that as small shop owners like the Zhang family who have been in Washington, D.C. through the tough times, through the good times, all the time. And so we want to thank them for being in working in our communities. I also want to recognize all the members of the Bowser administration. Give yourselves a big round of applause. Wow, that's not very big. That's better. All of our ANC commissioners and community leaders, give them a round of applause. And our fellow store owners, Virginia Ali is right behind me from Ben's Chili Bowl. Let's give her a big round of applause. So you have heard me frequently say that our city is the best city in the world. And I know we're biased, but it is our job to make sure that everybody knows it. And part of that job is making sure that our community is always looking its best. And you would be proud to know that when people visit us from around the nation and around the world, they frequently remark about how clean DC is. So let's give a big thank you to DPW. But we also know that DPW can't do it all. And so we need our communities to be just as proud of keeping our streets and alleys and sides of buildings clean as we are. We know that graffiti and litter tell us something about a place. When we see it unchecked, it suggests that we don't care about a neighborhood. And so we should all have the view that as soon as we see graffiti come up, that it must come down. We should have the view that we all have a responsibility to pick up litter and to keep our streets clean. We should all have the view that we should reduce what we consume as much as possible. We should reuse containers and the like as much as we can, and then we should recycle all that we must dispose of. That said, the work we do to keep our neighborhoods clean isn't just about building beautiful and healthy spaces. It's also a part of our economic prosperity. And our agencies stay busy. In just the last year, DPW cleaned up nearly 7,000 illegal dumping sites. 7,000. Removed over 1,600 unwanted graffiti markings, and through the street sweeping program, removed more than 4,300 tons of trash and pollutants that would have washed into our storm drains and eventually ended up in our waterways. So luckily, through DPW and our office on Clean City, and with our residents and business owners, we have worked steadfastly to keep all 8 wards clean. Joining us today are representatives from 12 community groups that work with us: the Georgia Avenue Thrive, Lamont Community Action, Fort Lincoln Civic Association, the Carver Terrace Family Community Fellowship, E.J. Valentine, Shabby Cat, the Hustlers Guild, 3T Friends and Pet Services, Atlas Vet, GKR Trash Free Association, Friends of Kingman Park, and the 24th Street Caring Neighbors. On behalf of all the residents and visitors and businesses who benefit from your efforts, I want to say thank you from all of us. In just a few moments, our fearless leaders in this work, DPW Director Chris Geltart. Let's give Chris and his team a big round of applause. Julie Lawson, the Director of the Office of the Clean City. Give Julie a big round of applause. We'll share more with you about these efforts. They're also going to speak about the new signs that we'll be adding to some of our corridors, as well as a new ad campaign featuring two very well-respected members of our community, Mrs. Ali of the Ben's Chili Bowl and Andy Shalal of Busboys and Poets. And they're going to share more about how residents can get one of these free litter prevention signs to put in their own yards. And soon, we are going to also kick off the 4th annual Great Graffiti Wipeout, an 8-week blitz to remove graffiti and take down, one thing that I really hate, unwanted illegal signs and posters in our public space. And during last year's blitz, we cleaned up 900 graffiti markings and removed more than 3,000 stickers and posters. So Mr. Zhang has operated his restaurant here on Benning Road, as I mentioned, for 30 years, and we want to make sure his business and businesses like his continue to thrive. So now I want to bring up Director Geltart, followed by Director Lawson, and then I'll have some time for your questions. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, Mayor Bowser. My name is Chris Geltart. I'm the Acting Director of DC's Department of Public Works. Last year, DC welcomed almost 22 million domestic visitors into this city. That group brought in almost $8 billion to our local economy. As these tourists walk our sidewalks and drive our streets, I want them to see our city at its finest. We want more of them to come here. So as the mayor said, when folks come and say, this is one of the cleanest cities I've seen, I want them to say, this is the cleanest city I have ever seen. And that's our goal. Beyond tourism, how our neighborhoods look and feel is a very real impact day to day to our residents. The over 700,000 residents that call DC home, as the mayor said, litter and graffiti are signs of disrespect and a thumb in the eye in everyone who takes pride and who live here. That's why we'll be putting up these new street signs throughout the city, reminding folks to be good neighbors and not to litter. For most of the employees of DPW are DC residents, and for them, this is a very personal job. You can look around behind you of all the DPW employees. You can see them up here. I'd just like them to raise their hand. How many of y'all are DC residents? There you go. So this is our home too. That's why we take pride in our job, in our work. And we ask that folks do that same with us. Throughout the city, we have 7,000 public litter cans, 7,000 public litter cans that we as DPW pick up every night. That's 23 tons of litter and trash that we pick up just from those litter cans every night. The problems we have is we have some residents and some folks that bring out their trash and put them in the public litter cans. We're looking out for that and for you people. There is a $75 fine for littering in the city. For those that put their trash inside those litter cans, there's an even higher fine. And our sweep inspectors and other folks in DPW are out there looking for folks that are doing that. And we're citing folks that do that. So let us talk a little bit about some of the things that we're going to be doing with this signage and throughout the coming weeks. Throughout the next week, sweep inspectors from our Solid Waste Education Enforcement Program, as we call it, SWEEP, will be targeting litter and illegal dumping hotspots throughout the district. While people may not realize, again, it is actually illegal to litter and carries a $75 fine. They'll be out there looking for it. Some things that we will also be out there doing our graffiti wipeout. As the mayor mentioned, we'll be going through all 8 wards, spending at least 1, if not 2 weeks in each ward, hitting all of the major places where we have graffiti. And I have our graffiti crew here. Where's our graffiti crew? Here we go. Where's Ace? Is he behind? There he is. This is the man right here that goes through the city and takes care of this litter that's out there every day. As the employees that are out here from DPW will tell you, we have a new motto in DPW that I brought in here with me, talking with the folks, and my head of solid waste management back there shaking her head up and down. And that motto I carried from public safety. In public safety, they say, if you see something, say something. In DPW, if you see something, do something. Hey. So if you're out there, as I told my folks, you're on the street every day. If you see an alleyway that needs to be cleaned, tell it to the supervisor. If you see a litter can that's overflowing, put it in 311. If you can't pick it up yourself, tell somebody so we can get it picked up. I'm now asking the community to do the same thing. If you see something, do something. You don't have to pick up the trash on the street if you cannot, but you can put it into 311. You can let us know that it's out there so we can get our folks out there to get it cleaned up. The other thing I would say for folks, take advantage of our Helping Hand program and organize a cleanup in your neighborhood. We facilitated over 110 cleanups last year, and we're hoping to grow that number this year. Put one of these signs in your yard. We want to make it clear that litter is unacceptable in our city. And finally, when you see illegal dumping or something that needs to be cleaned up, call 311. We'll get out there and we'll get it cleaned up. With that, I'd like to hand it over to Julie Lawson, who heads up the Mayor's Office of Clean City, who we work very closely with.
Thank you, Director Geldart. Thank you, Mayor Bowser. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
My name's Julie Lawson. I'm the Director of the Mayor's Office of the Clean City. We work with other government agencies and community members to support clean, safe, and healthy neighborhoods that are free of trash, rats, and pet waste. We know that when people litter, they're doing it out of a sign of disconnect of their community. They don't feel that they know their neighbors. They don't feel responsible to their neighbors. They don't feel responsible to the community, and they don't feel the community is responsive to them. We also know that the simple act of picking up trash together can bring even our neighbors who need a helping hand back into the fold of their community, making our neighborhood safer and stronger and cleaner too. We have been really proud to bring more than 300 new blocks into our Adopt-A-Block program since this time last year, bringing us to a total of more than 600 blocks adopted by more than 150 organizations and individuals. We're thrilled to have 9 of those groups represented here today who are working within a half a mile of here, so thank you so much to those of you attending and for all the work you do. People who would sign up to Adopt-A-Block commit to cleaning up their neighborhood a minimum of 4 times a year for 2 years. So we're looking at a lot of neighborhood cleanups. We know that some neighborhoods have turned this into a monthly event where we have hundreds of people turning out, including Atlas Vet that supports Capitol Hill community cleanups the first Saturday of every month. So you can start today by joining your neighbors to help clean up. You can sign up to Adopt-A-Block at cleancity.dc.gov, and you can join all your neighbors and friends in helping to keep our streets clean. We are working hard to make Washington, D.C. the healthiest, greenest, and most livable city in the nation. But let's not let today be a one-time event. We're proud to work with our partners at DPW on this litter prevention effort, but let's keep the momentum going. Meet your neighbors, make a commitment to continuing this teamwork toward a trash-free D.C. Thank you all for being part of the solution. Turn it back over to the mayor for questions.
Thank you. Okay, questions? Back on some of the buildings in the city? If we are able to find them, and you raise another good point, and that is we're also are asking our shop owners and property owners to install security cameras, which acts as a deterrent, but also lets DPW, Environmental Crimes, and NPD know who's defacing property. And I don't know what the crime or enforcement mechanism is.
Sure. To answer the question, the fine is not less than $250 or more than $1,000, and there is an imprisonment period of up to 180 days, both fine or jail time, and it usually comes with community service, and they usually come and help us clean it up when they're doing that community service. Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner.
I just want to ask, is the graffiti cleanup for government buildings or is it for neighborhoods? Because the owner of the shop has graffiti right behind you. He said he just got through painting it and they came back and they put graffiti on it again. So how does that impact private owners and homeowners?
So the majority of the graffiti that we have is on private property. It's on storefronts, it's on buildings, it's on people's homes. So that's the majority of the calls that we get. And what we do is we meet with the store owners and we say, would you like us to remove that for you? We just need your permission. And with their permission, then we can go and we can remove it. And that's what we do. I want to harp on what the mayor said, though, especially in those areas where there's re-tagging, like here and in other places. We really would like folks to put cameras up or to report when they see somebody out there doing it. If somebody is out here tagging this, somebody saw them. We need to get that reported. We have many, many places where there's repeat tagging. It would really be a help for all of us if we get the cameras up and we get people to actually say, here's what's going on with it.
Yes.
I own an apartment building on 17th and Gale, and I see tenants, when they move out, they'll put their old furniture in the house. And I have to pay for my own trash pickup. Is there any way that the city can make it to where when tenants put old stuff out, they can pick it up for them?
Well, your tenants can request bulk pickup, and there is a limit of the number of items, I think, in bulk pickup, but I think it's 7 items, is that right? And on each occurrence.
Even though it's a 4-unit and I have to pay for all my trash?
They can, well, is it
They put it out there, we'll pick it up.
for an apartment building that she's talking about, because it's not served by. Okay, ma'am, let me figure out the specifics of your situation.
Not only mine, but other landlords too.
Yeah, let me figure out the specifics, and I'm going to have Director Geldhart have somebody talk to you. Okay, yes, sir.
In the neighborhoods, if people lay out, let's say, mattresses and stuff on the side, they never call in. We can call in. And
Yes.
311 will come out.
You can call in and report that somebody has discarded a mattress. Absolutely. Please do. Yes.
Mayor Bowser, this is my neighborhood. Gale Street is my home. The trash that we see every day, I think the monthly pickups are great, but every day, children dropping things on the ground, people throwing things out of their car. Is the education initiative going to be greater so that children, perhaps in the schools, are aware of cleanup and pride in their neighborhood? How can we extend that so that it should be absolutely the parents, so that it becomes an awareness and a culture of cleanliness and pride in the neighborhood?
Absolutely, and
so,
that's part of what the public education campaign is about. Education and enforcement go hand in hand, and if there is if you see a stream of kids coming from a school, maybe we reach out to the school. The ANC commissioners can help us reach out to the school as well, with some hints and helpful hints for the kids and families.
Cans, there was an ANC meeting and a discussion of the design of the trash can and whether the quantity and where they were placed, but also the design that we could get more trash in so that you don't see trash cans overflowing constantly. Is there some discussion about that? Or
I don't think we're doing any new street cans. Who was presenting about that?
I mean, I brought it up then, but I don't recall who was there at the ANC meeting.
Okay, and you're talking about along which streets?
Well, specifically for me, this is my area. So
Okay, on Gales, we have street cans?
No.
All right.
16th Street, there's a school minor down there.
Okay.
This whole area. I have one neighbor who gets up every morning, and cleans our street. And that's why our block looks great every day.
Okay.
And he shouldn't have to do that, but God bless him because he does it every morning.
Okay, very good. So street cans, as you probably gathered from what Director Geltart said earlier, we pretty much limit them to commercial corridors and places where we know we have high traffic. When we put street cans in residential areas, residents will use them for regular trash. So it's a balance to making sure we have them in the highly walked and trafficked areas, and also where our crews can do those 7,000 pickups overnight. So that's part of our kind of logic on going into street cans. Now, we have done a pilot, I think, in a couple of places on different cans that are solar. Some others are part of a pilot to place sensors in it to help us know when they're full and if we need to pick up more often. And so that is kind of how we're approaching the street cans right now. So I'll take a couple more and then we're going to get walking. Yes, ma'am? Okay. 1 second. Yes, ma'am?
Because we have a lot of new neighbors in our community. When you all send out your brochure about lead pickup and stuff, when you tell them that the alley is not the place to keep their cans, people think that the alley is where they're supposed to keep their cans. They're supposed to move it in their yard.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you could include that, a tip, because we have a lot of new residents in the city, to let them, because some of them don't know.
Okay.
But I'm pissed.
All right, yeah. It makes the alley look kind of junky. Who's the ANC commissioner for the right here? Okay, Ms. Gilbert, we got a job for you.
Yeah, I need the city's help too.
Okay.
I think with including that information, it can reach more people.
Okay.
And across.
All right, that's a good thing to add to our mailing. Yes, sir.
Yes, I want to inquire about the trash cans. The trash man won't take them those city cans. We fought like I don't know what to get 4 cans by the rec center. And every morning when they come, or night when they come to the empty, those things are loaded with household trash. Can you put tops on those cans? Can you put signs on those cans and say that it's not for household trash? Because they'll drive by it if it's household trash, if they're overloaded. And that's every night. On 17th Street, that is.
On 17th.
By the rec center.
All right.
4 cans in that area are overloaded furniture, and you name it. And the man will drive by it at night.
Okay. Director Geltard will be right on that.
I appreciate it.
Yes.
Okay, what do you do about the out of control rats that are jumping out of the trash cans? Once the trash cans are overflowed, you have rat. What are you going to do about rat control? They're jumping out of the trash can onto the street, and they're bold. They're big and bold.
Well, that's part of what we're talking about, how to better manage trash, neighborhood trash, and getting people to use the city cans the way they're supposed to be used. But it's definitely a concern. Okay, you have the last question.
My concern is the blue bin. And I live on premises. I tell you the truth, there's more blue bins in the alley. And like
The recycle bins?
Yeah, recycle
Okay.
bins. And then a little bit of the regular trash. And the rest of it, I don't know what the problem is. It's been like that for the past 2 to 4 years. And I've been in my neighborhood 20 years.
You mean people don't take them in and out to this point? Okay.
Into their patio, like I got a big patio, and I put my, I take mine and put it in, and it's been out there for the last 2 to 4 years.
Maybe we should have a block party and invite DPW to come. The other thing is we have an enforcement, what do you call your enforcement? Sweep team, education and enforcement team. And so let me ask them to work with Commissioner to see if we can do some public. This is I'm going to tell you my approach to this, okay? We don't want to go in writing $75 tickets to everybody, all right? You don't want that either, because that leaves a bad taste in everybody's mouth. So it's better if we can go in and do some education. DPW even has the ability to issue some warnings, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So sometimes what happens when I have a meeting like this, everybody goes out and a lot of people, maybe even one of you, will get a ticket. You don't want that, right? All right. So let's all agree today that we're going to do some public education first, and then we can think about some enforcement. But I like your idea about very proactive about making sure in one of the regular DPW mailings that we do some education about when you have to bring your trash can in.
There's a sweep inspector in this area that can go out.
Look at it and throw it in the trash can.
Okay, now I can't send it and read it. I can't do that. But what I can do is make sure we're coming at a lot of different ways, because it's true about everything that you have to communicate with people 5-10 times before it sinks through, and it's even more now because people have so many things coming at them in so many different ways. So let's agree to try to hit it a number of ways. But we're going to start our walk, and we can ask questions along the way. Thank you, everybody.